talking about replacing Juan Soto, there was really only one player that Gary and I felt like could even get to that point, and that was Kyle Tucker. Even before he started getting mentioned, we're like, I don't know if this guy's going to be available, but he would be a great fit. And then all of a sudden he became available, and we were like, okay, well, they need to get this thing done. And then out of the blue, you have the Chicago Cubs, who are almost never in on these type of deals, and they get him. So I want to ask you, were the Yankees really serious bidders, for Kyle Tucker? Who was, I guess, the most that they were willing to offer? Because it just never felt like, we kept hearing, they're going to have this big deal, and all this stuff kept coming out, and it just felt like we never got anything on that side. And then sure enough, Kyle Tucker's going to the Chicago Cubs, and you're like, that was your lifeline. Why didn't you go after it? So I guess what are your thoughts on that and anything you heard about that whole situation?
Well, I know the Yankees really liked him and they tried to get him, but the Yankees' best offer was prospects, and I was told that they did not offer any of their top 5 prospects, and the Cubs were in the Astros were insisting on Luis Hill, and the Yankees' number 1 pick from 2 years ago, the kid out of Miami whose dad played in the big leagues. That's who they were insisting on. Now, the thing I would have done if I'm the Yankees, I would have given up those two on a condition that you get 72 hours to negotiate a contract. Now, the problem with Soto's contract is that's increased Tucker's value. He does not have Scott Boras as an agent. I was told he probably would negotiate right now, but what might have been a $300 million contract now may be a $400 or $500 contract. Personally, I would rather have Tucker than Juan Soto because Tucker is so good defensively.
I agree.
And that's not dissing Soto. I greatly appreciate what he brings. A lot of what his best. Keep in mind, 2 years ago, I think he hit about 240, 242 in San Diego and Washington that last year. So this guy can have bad years, and he did have this amazing year last year. Again, hitting in front of Aaron Judge. That offered a heck of a lot of protection there. But I'm not sure that the Yankees didn't realize that the price on Tucker might have been just crazy high. And I don't think that they wanted to give up. Look, if the one thing the Yankees, with or without Soto, they have a lot of big money guys. Cole, Stanton, George Lombard's the other guy I was thinking of, by the way, the other guy that the number 1 pick from a couple years ago that the Astros wanted in addition to Luis Hill. But if you're going to have big money guys on your team, Stanton, Judge, Cole, and others, you have to have some good players that are making close to minimum money. And right now, Hill was rookie of the year last year. What did he win? 15, 16 games as making close to minimum wage. So you need some of those guys. So one of the reasons they wanted to trade Nestor's salary was going up. They're trying hard to get rid of Stroman. Stroman's $18 million this year, and if he pitches 130 or 140 innings, he's a player option to get another $18 million next year.
Oh boy,
Yankees want nothing to do with that.
And we love the guy on this show. I mean, we thought in general,
he's really intelligent.
He's great. Yeah,
what's crazy is that he had when a couple years ago when the Yankees didn't trade him, and he starts ripping Cashman on Twitter. The whole reason that he said he ripped Cashman on Twitter was Cashman said if they trade for me, that I wasn't good enough to be in the postseason rotation. So they give this guy 2 years and a player option. And how many innings did he pitch in the rotation or relief last year? Wasn't even on the roster for the division series. Then LCS and World Series, he's on and gets 0 innings. So I found that kind of amusing. That said, the guy's fascinating. I mean, this guy lives in some kind of chamber to get great air, and he has incense burning in his locker, and
he's sleeping in the hyperbaric chamber.
Apparently. Yeah, he's an intelligent guy. He's fun to talk to, and he really has a chip on his shoulder for being a short guy who was passed over a lot. And the guy's had a good career. He really has.
He has.
He's been to 2 All-Star games, and as bad as he was in the second half last year, it wasn't like Rodon 2 years ago and and his first half was pretty good. There was a little bit of consideration for him even going to the All-Star game in the first half. I think his ERA was in the high twos or low threes. And
he was a good teammate
half
as well in 2024. I know obviously he had that situation happen with Gleyber Torres that looked bad in the moment, but he did walk that back and held himself accountable, which was good. Part of, to your point, Aaron Judge is just a great leader and just honing that in. But Randy, my last question.
Torres, a lot of people held it in with Torres. And while I really like Torres personally, I had a scout when Torres was traded to the Yankees I think it was a Chapman trade in 2016. I was sent to Brevard County, Florida, to watch his first 2 or 3 games. He was with Tampa Yankees at the time. They didn't change their name yet. And I remember reading a scout that day, and they says, this guy has a baseball. He's 19 or 20 years old, and he has a baseball IQ like he's 26 or 27. And I talked to this same scout last year and says, this guy now is 27, and now he has a baseball IQ of a 13-year-old.
Oh, so he's Benjamin Button of baseball.
I wrote that once, yes. And
love that.
He's a great guy. He has amazing talent. He had the 38 homers his first full year. All-Star game is his first year with 24 homers. He didn't get called up until, I think, early May. But yet he makes some of the most ridiculous plays. And I think he was thrown out more than anyone in the game at home plate this year. And because of those reasons, he's not coming back. And, the trade that I love the reliever they just picked up, Devin Williams. But I'm surprised they give up Caleb Durbin there because they really like this guy I talked to people that saw him in the fall league who said this kid was amazing. All year long, people were telling me this kid is like a Dustin Pedroia, not quite the power, but he's kind of a baseball rat kind of guy, and he's going to have a good career. And when we talked to Cashman the first day of the winter meetings, he said, right now, this guy's our starting second baseman. Soto goes the next day, and then they trade or they bring in. He's gone in a couple of days later. So it's interesting they got rid of him, and
crazy.
I think Jazz will probably be the second or third baseman depending on what they do there. I don't know that they're going to get Bregman, but it's going to be interesting to see what they do because they have a lot of holes. And one last thing, I know a lot of fans are saying the Yankees, they offered Soto $760 million, so they need to spend the $760 million. No, the $760 million was over 15 years.
Thank you.
$750 million was what? $47 million in this year's luxury tax. It's not like they're going to go spend $700 million and put it on the next 5 years of the payroll. That's ridiculous. They're going to be competitive. They're always competitive. They're going to get guys, and they're going to have a team. And look, right now they already, for my money, the Yankees in Seattle have the best 2 rotations in the league, and no one's even close.